Well, happy Aloha Friday, everyone. I'm really excited to have a very special guest to talk story with today. He is the founder and CEO of SOARE Productions, born and raised in Romania and immigrated with his family to Canada at age 13. Since he was young, he already had a passion for photography and filmmaking, started SOARE Productions in Toronto, and after a decade of hard work, achieved his goal of expanding to the U.S., where he launched his company's first U.S. location, SOARE Hawaii, in 2021. Welcome, our guest, Ciprian, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce.
You don't even have to try. Dumitrascu.
Dumitrascu.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
Dumitrascu.
Yeah.
And then, but everyone calls you Cip for short. Right?
Actually, Chip. Just Chip.
Or Chip. Chip.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Okay, well, welcome to the Friday Live, and I'm super excited because our team had a chance to work with you and your group on one of our most recent listings, and that was just an amazing experience. And after having that whole experience with you guys, I felt like, hey, we need to let everyone else know all these wonderful things that you're doing. So tell us a little bit about like what kind of products and services that SOARE Hawaii offers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. First of all, that intro was awesome. Thank you for that intro. I was like, well, that was really cool. So thank you for that. And I'm super grateful to be on the show and connect with you guys. I mean, and you mentioned that we did work together on that listing, and what a listing that was. I mean, I gotta be honest, in terms of properties, like we've done properties all over, over the world. Actually, we've had clients that we've worked with, multiple areas besides just Toronto and Hawaii. And a property like that, I have never seen. I've never had such such a feeling when you go into a place. It was just the energy of that listing. So it was an absolute pleasure to work with you guys on that listing. And yeah, in terms of what we do is, we offer services specifically for creating content and media, as well as social media marketing. So we pretty much do anything. Like we don't really say no. If you have any crazy idea, like
you'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. That's literally been my motto my whole life, and that's what we do now. So yeah, we do anything from photography, video, drone, Matterport, but also getting really creative in order to achieve as much exposure on social media. And that's actually what we did with you. We got super creative with that video. It was so fun, and we've had awesome results.
And we were super happy with the end product. And then the other thing is that you guys turned it around very quickly. So, I mean, there's that too. And plus you guys were very, very pleasant to work with. You're a fun group. And it was just, it didn't feel like we were working. We were just having fun.
That's literally it. That is, in my opinion, like how you almost define success. Because at the end of the day, like if you don't like what you do, then it's a totally different aspect. And I feel like the kind of energy you're putting into it, if you love what you do, the results show for themselves, and it doesn't even feel like you're working, right? I used to always say every time, like I first got, I was 16 when I started, and I was, just like kind of like when I was getting paid, I was like, wait, this feels almost like getting paid is like a bonus, it's been so fun. And even now, 10 years later, it's the same. We still have so much fun. And I agree with you. I think that's, you sense that energy, and you collaborate with people that feel the same way. You guys love what you do. You can tell in everything that you do. So it was just such a good collaboration.
Now you mentioned being paid for one of your jobs at 16. Let's talk about that. Like, how did you get started at, it seems like such a young age to start a business and then really know what it is that you wanted to do?
Yeah. It was honestly, it was crazy. I'm like, even thinking about it now, every time I bring it up, I was like, whoa, like it's been a journey for sure. But basically, I was at the time, I was grade 10 in high school, And I realized the mentality was very different. So the mentality in Romania was you have to go through all your schooling, you have to get, your university degree, and then you have to, get a job, right? But only afterwards. But my friends in Canada, I noticed everybody was getting jobs. I'd want to hang out on the weekend and they started like, we can hang out after work. And I'm like, what do you mean work? You're only 16. But
Hmm.
actually the mentality was, no, you have to get a job so that you have money so that you can have fun then with your friends. And I'm like, that's interesting. I definitely want a job myself too. I want to be able to have fun with you guys. So it came down to I did always kind of have a passion for cameras. I think like my dad kind of installed me that passion. He always had like a camera on our face on all our vacations growing up. And then I did also starting as early as like 14, 13. I was already had a YouTube channel and I was like filming fun little skits and videos just like as a passion. So then at 16, I was like, I have this camera. I kind of already know how to film a little bit because I've been filming little YouTube videos for a couple of years.
Hmm.
Why don't I try to turn it into a job? Why don't I start using it? So I searched up, I Googled like how to start a business. And it was very easy. You just like register online, you pay a small fee so that you have a registered business. And then I put an ad kind of like on Craigslist. Where you put an ad and I would literally I looked at what everybody else was offering and I said, okay, events, yes. Well, weddings, yes. Of birthdays, like I can film anything and everything, music videos, and I made this awesome ad. And believe it or not, I think within the first like couple of days, I was getting calls. People were calling and they said like,
Wow.
hey, like, yeah, they're like, hey, can you film for us? I didn't know anything. Like, trust me, everything was like self-taught from YouTube. So it was a lot of trial and error. My first jobs, I want to say there's a reason I charged pretty much nothing, right? But yeah, and then it just kind of snowballed. So you just like,
So,
I started it and yeah,
so self-taught from YouTube. So instead of going a traditional route,
yeah.
you you relied on the internet, YouTube, mentors. So
Yeah.
you did not go to a formal schooling to do this.
No,
Is
I
what I'm hearing.
didn't. I didn't. And some of the clients that my first clients, some that I still work with this day, at the time they actually believed I was 19 years old and in film school, but I was actually 16 and in high school because I was such a kid. I didn't want that. I didn't want my age to affect the fact that like no, I can do this. I have a passion for this. I know I can make it happen. So often I'd be like, no, I'm in film school. I was, of course, not. So my film school was
High school.
youtube.com. Yeah, I was definitely. I go to YouTube. I spend a lot of my evenings just researching, like, how to film better, how to edit better. And then I would try it myself. I would try it at, like, my parents' house. I would try, like, messing around with the camera. And then once I started getting the job, based on whatever that job would be, I would just, again, make that YouTube research. And it turned out okay. It really did work out.
So Chip, what is the most unusual um, photo shoot or like video shoot that you guys have done? Just give us an overview if you can. I'd like to hear.
Early on, there's been some crazy ones. I mean, there's definitely some that I don't think I'm going to mention necessarily on this Friday show.
Not
But
appropriate.
there's been a few. One that ended up being some sort of what seemed like initially just like a meeting, like a business meeting, but then it was some sort of dance slash cult movement that was going on. It was wild. I was just sitting there with the camera and I was like, okay. There's been, oh my God, there's been interesting ones. There was a few music videos for artists that, you know, were up and coming, just like myself. It was fun. Let's just say it was fun, but we've had requests for a lot of crazy ones. Let's just say I'm happy I got through that pretty quick, and I
Yeah.
found real estate because real estate is a totally different ball game than what I was doing very very early on for sure.
So now, like we've talked before, and I know that your main hub, you've got the Toronto and then
Yeah.
Hawaii, but you guys also will do work in other areas. Let's talk about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely, started in Toronto. That's still I have my team over there and all of our clients, which I'm obviously so grateful for. I have an incredible team over there, and then expanding out here was just like wow, it was just such an incredible journey coming to Hawaii. But we do have, we do have connections like in other areas like New York, and we did end up actually opening a location in LA as well. So,
Hmm.
being so close to Hawaii, we realized that like, look, there is quite a strong real estate market over there too. So we connected with a few people, and we worked with a few teams in LA. And our goal is obviously to continue to scale, but more so now. It used to be a lot more focused on volume, but now we're actually transitioned this year, and we're focusing a lot more on quality and individual growth within teams. So we actually tend to work with bigger teams, and we almost become an extensive of their like marketing and content
Hmm.
team, right? And that's been a little bit more fun for us. Instead of just like going all over the place, you get to really connect with people better, you get to know the teams that you're working with better, and overall you just produce better content. So that's been the transition that we've been very, very happy with this year.
So having more of a collaborative relationship with the teams that you do work with on the special projects. So like, for
Yeah,
example, on our team, we do have like a media person that does, just our normal
absolutely.
listings. But when we have something this unique and special, we need to have a very unique approach.
Yeah.
Now, Sheen, maybe you can do some screen sharing of the content that Chip and his team were able to come up with, and we can kind of show our audience the kind of work that he's capable of.
Yeah, no, that's
So very,
yeah,
very
this
creative.
property.
Yeah.
Every time I see this, I'm just like, oh, can we just live there? We should make that like our content house or something. if if we scale growing up, it's just, yeah, it's
So
the
like while she's playing this, let's talk about like your big move, that big move from Toronto to Hawaii. Like how did that come about?
Oh my God. Sometimes like you believe in the fact that it was meant to be, or for us, like me and my fiance Cassie, like we basically, she tried to get me out here on vacation for years, right?
Mhm.
And I, for some reason, like I wasn't very much like a resort person that like comes on vacation to just like relax on the beach. Like, we're very adventurous, so like every vacation we used to take from Toronto, anywhere we go, it had to do with like, we got to do a lot of hiking and adventuring and this. And for some reason in my mind, I didn't do enough research on Hawaii, and I thought it was mainly just like you relax on the beach. I couldn't be more wrong. There's so much adventuring out here. But finally, she convinced me, and we came out here, just on vacation in 2017. And I kid you not, it's hard to describe. But we got to Hawaii, and then we started. We were driving around the coast, and we just stopped, just literally like off the side of the road, and there was something. It was like some sort of like energy, something that we both felt, that were like, whoa, there's something so incredibly special about where we currently are, that we didn't even know what it was at the time. Like this, I only kind of made the connections later on. And we really truly fell in love with, the community here, the people here, everything you can do here. I've never felt more positivity in my life. Like, everybody we spoke to, anybody we met, it was just like such a positive interaction, that we're like, wow, like this place really changes you. Like, it almost like really calms you down. I don't even know how to describe it, but it really felt so different. And yeah, after falling in love with it, to be honest, when we left, it almost felt like we were like leaving home. It was weird, and it wasn't because of the beach. It wasn't even because of the climate. It was just that energy and that positivity that we felt. And then we kept coming back. I mean, between the time 2017 and the time we moved, we actually came here 10 times. So
Wow.
every 2 to 3 months, we would do anything possible to come back here and just spend a couple of weeks here just to get that energy again. And then we basically set a big goal where we said, listen, we wrote it down. At the time, we discovered, we believe in a lot of like manifestation and really goal setting and things like that. And we wrote it down, and we wrote it on paper. We wrote it in our phones, and we told everybody we knew. This was before we didn't have enough money to move. We didn't have a US visa. We didn't even know the process. We didn't even know if it was possible. It was just like a
Mhm.
big dream. And we put it out there. We said, we are going to, move to Hawaii. And then we started working towards that. Every time we would, we spoke to a lawyer, and he said, listen, like, you own a Canadian corporation. If you think you are able
And
to
wait a second
expand,
though, like
yeah,
you moved to Hawaii in
yeah,
2021 in the middle of
yeah,
like COVID, and I know in
yes,
Canada, like it was
it was
very
strict.
difficult to come and go
Yeah,
out of that
it
side of the
was.
Canadian border. So that was kind of like a feat in itself, escaping
It
Canada.
was. Absolutely, it really was. And it wasn't just us. We also brought our two big dogs, right?
Oh
So
wow.
we actually had rescued the dog from Hawaii. So we were on vacation on Kauai, and we basically like fell in love with a dog here that needed rescuing. So we
Yeah.
brought her back to
Oh,
Canada, right?
oh.
And it was just incredible. Like it was like we literally brought her back, and then ended up moving back with us to Hawaii. So it was like this really, really special, like full circle moment. But yeah, it was not easy. Let's just say that it was definitely not easy. But it was, we had that dream, and we knew that we could make it happen. So we had to do anything possible, and it worked. It really worked out.
Well, I'm so glad that you followed through with your intuition and your dreams, and you just turned over every rock to make it
Yeah.
happen. And I think a lot of it has to do with your mindset.
Yes.
And
Oh, yes.
let's talk about that mindset and like where did that come from?
I think honestly, it had to be where we like. Honestly, it's how I grew up. Like it's interesting. Like my parents, like from literally day one, made me believe that like whatever I wanted to do, like that was a possibility. Like growing up, very very young, I wanted to become a professional skateboarder. I want to be like Tony Hawk. I was like 6 years
Mm-hmm.
old, and my mom said, "Yes, you're going to be Tony Hawk. If you want to be Tony Hawk, you're going to be Tony Hawk." And I grew up believing that. So it installed this like confidence in me that like I it just comes almost natural at this point that like whatever goal we decide in my head it's already happened because it's a no-brainer that like we are able to make it happen. So it started from when I was 6 years old and it followed through in everything else I wanted to do in life, right? So and I saw my parents, they really wanted to move to Canada, and I saw them make that dream happen, and I'm like, okay, we can do this, right? So it was the same when we're like, we really want to move to Hawaii, so we made that happen. I really want to start a business, we started a business. Like
Are you still
anything.
skateboarding though? I want to know. Are you
I,
still
I am,
skateboarding?
but I'm definitely not Tony Hawk. Let's just say that. I think I need to start doing surfing or something else because it's been many years and I'm not Tony Hawk yet.
Well,
Yeah.
I know didn't you go out to the Waikai facility and do a lot of like B-roll
Yeah,
and some,
yeah.
yeah.
We've been doing quite a lot of shooting there. I have not gotten the water there. Josh, who also shoots for us, he's an amazing team member here in Hawaii. He's more in that field. He gets out all the time. He shoots for a lot of the big surfers out here on the North Shore, so he's used to the big waves for sure.
So you guys do pretty much anything, but your main focus is on like real estate,
Yep,
events,
yep.
anything else that our viewers, could take note of that you
Yeah,
can come and help.
so absolutely. Honestly, it's been really interesting because this year, again, we've really collaborated a lot with, different teams to do more creative content. So I feel like that's almost now one of the things that we do best. We kind of can go the very creative route,
Mm-hmm.
and shoot, either special properties or unique, ideas, even for other businesses, but it's definitely real estate would be our main. And one other main point is it is that we do deliver within 24 hours. So,
Yes.
almost regardless of the package that we book, something that I think when we came out here, I don't know if we're still the only ones that offer that, but because we have a quite a large team, we are able to edit everything overnight, and then the following day all the content is ready, which is really important. Real estate, how I can be slower sometimes, but real estate still moves pretty quick, right? So
Yeah.
it's important to have that turnaround time, and that's one thing I would say that is one of our still our key main features. Yeah.
Well, we were super impressed with how quickly you turned it around. And I'm thinking that you've got, since in Toronto, they're what, like, 4 or 5 hour difference. So they're up
Yep.
early in the morning editing to deliver
Yeah.
within that 24 our time frame.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we have teams all over. So we actually have teams working in 5 different time zones. So
Wow.
we have post-production teams depending of what job they're editing. Like if it's LA, Hawaii, Toronto, we make sure that it's happening overnight. So while we're actually sleeping, it's the middle of
Oh
their
my God.
day. So they're editing so that by the time it's morning over here, the content is just ready. Our admin team just looks over everything, reviews everything, and if it's good to go, we send it out to the client. So it's a really, really seamless process.
Well, we're unfortunately we're coming to the the end of our talk, but I do want to make one notable mention and just give you like mad props for this. But over the last 6 months, you've been on this health journey, and like we've watched you too, like on set, like where you're very intentional about like what you're putting in your body, your protein intake, exercise, and you've released over 40 pounds. So
Yes.
I want to give you like keep going, keep
Yeah.
moving on that health journey.
Thank
It's
you.
important to feel good, and then
It changed my whole life. And I'm telling you, if it wasn't for the place that we were in and the positive environment that we were surrounded by, I don't know if it would have happened because my stress levels have decreased tremendously. And it allowed me to realize that like business is important, but my health should really come first.
yeah,
So that's what we've
health
done every
first.
morning at
Yep.
sunrise, go for the runs. And yeah, I just ran on Sunday. I ran the Honolulu half marathon, was my
Oh, the
second,
Hapalua one.
the
Congratulations.
Hapalua. Yeah,
That's a
thank you. It
fun
was
one. Yep.
absolutely incredible. And yeah, it changed my life. My everything's different. My energy level, my confidence, my everything, my mental health. Like really, it's been like it's up there with what I feel like one of my biggest accomplishments. And definitely, it's the journey. We're not there yet, but I'm super super grateful for the progress we've made so far.
You're living your best life, and then you're out there doing your videography and helping others to put that into content where they're living their best life and
Absolutely.
sharing that. Yeah.
Exactly. No, I'm super happy.
Okay, well, thank you again, and we'll look forward to having you on our radio show as well to talk a little
Yes, I'm
more
so
about
excited.
your business and your story. And everyone have a wonderful, happy Aloha Friday and a great
Happy
weekend.
Aloha Friday, everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. I'm so, so grateful. Thank you. Have a good one.
Take us out, Sheen.